write songs, record them, release them, and show up for gigs. That was the life of a recording artist. Not anymore. Today you have to add thumb-stopping content to your skill set. Let's get social right here on the Stream Girls.
Check the Stream Girls. They got the Stream Girls. Check the Stream Girls. They've got a lot to say. The Stream Girls. From Los Angeles to the Monterey Bay. For the Monterey Bay. Started streaming for the boys. Knew what was up. I'm up. California dreaming. Here to light the world up. If you know, you know. If you don't, you in your own way. You know, you know. If you don't, you in your own way.
Amen. Amen.
Should I wear my glasses today?
Oh, yeah, you look very sophisticated. Yeah, very
Let's try something
intelligent.
new.
You look intelligent. That's, yeah.
Oh, good. I can fake my way through.
Oh, my goodness. Social media. Social media. You know, it's totally at the center of today's music industry. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, not just entertainment platforms anymore, Donna. These are places where music lovers hang out. In fact, research is showing that people who use social media are the same people who pay for premium music services and the same people who show up for concerts.
Wow. I didn't know that.
That means so for artists who understand social media, you're not just posting, you're building pipelines to real fans and engagement and real revenue.
I like that, pipelines.
Yeah, and to be honest, we all know, I mean, if anybody who spends, a few minutes or more a day on social media, it is total chaos out there. It's a fast-moving battlefield, for sure.
Yeah,
every brand, every band, every creator, they're fighting for attention. It's literally an endless scroll. So if you want to stand out, you have to decide what you're actually offering. What do you want to say about yourself, your music, your touring? It's a strategic process. So are you the type of person that has a good sense of humor and you want to post some memes and maybe tour promos? Some people like to do little giveaways, or they like to show the behind the scenes clips, which I personally love. I like to see, I love it when artists take photos from the stage, and or they'll show the set list and they'll post that before the show. All that kind of stuff really puts you in the center of it as the fan, So whatever you can come up with in your mind and, can strategize to stop that scrolling is going to create the connection. And that's really what we want to talk about today, because there are artists out there who have built an entire music career off social media alone. So we want to explore how the platforms have reshaped the industry and why it's become essential for artists to grow and build their own community. And we're learning that old school promotions are not the real engine behind long-term successes in the industry anymore.
Well, and also the stop scrolling thing. Don't do that, because that doesn't work. I get that all the time in my feed. Hey, stop scrolling. I got something to tell you.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I was going to say, though, about what you just put out there was, yes, it is chaotic. And yes, there's billions of people on social media. So how does it even work? If you have billions of people all showing up to a town square, that would be utter chaos. Nothing would get done, right? The way it works is algorithms, which is kind of what we discussed last time. So yeah, what you feed into the algorithm is your, these personality traits, these things about your music that are unique. And then the algorithm goes out and finds people who would be interested in that. So like what we do at smoothjazz.com, we do isolate things down. It's micro-focusing.
It is, yeah. It's artist-centric. Yeah. And to your point, what I wanted to say is that when you're just starting with social media, and a lot of the artists that we know and that we work with, even those legacy artists that have been around a long time, it doesn't mean that they just took to social media like a duck to water. In fact, for some people, it's really quite foreign to go from the scenario that I painted at the top of the show, how you write a song, you record a song, you go to the gig, and you don't sit and, show everything in your world. We didn't do that. We didn't grow up that way. And people older than us especially didn't grow up that way. So it's complicated, but starting slowly. And when you work with smoothjazz.com, for example, we make it very easy for our large global audience, which is bigger than 100 small radio stations combined, because we broadcast around the world, and we have for 26 years. So we're not just a radio station, we are a platform. And when our audience discovers you through listening or seeing your banner, all of those links to every single social media platform you're on, they're right there. Those little cute buttons and logos are colorful. Some people like Facebook more than Instagram. Some people like TikTok more than Facebook, and they can just click on whatever logo they want and they can go discover you. And so you can start slow. Those algorithms won't kick in until you actually have more numbers. And that's okay. But because starting slow, even if you have 100 followers at first, this is a journey, and it's about building deeper bonds with fans who want to stay invested with you for the long haul, not just song 1, but album 10. You know what I mean? So you can't get overwhelmed by it, but you just got to start.
Well, that's why we created the artist guide on smoothjazz.com. We didn't need to do that. I just had this idea that, when you're running a campaign, it's nice to show your social media buttons, which that doesn't happen on any radio station I can think of, nor has it ever. On online platforms, FM platforms, it doesn't matter. There's no social media buttons associated with your song or your cover art, right? So it's nice that, some of them are starting to put your DSP links so you can go to Spotify or YouTube or whatever. Some are, but I thought it would be really cool to, after your campaign ended, your artist headshot and all of your socials stayed up in our guide, so that people could find you, and the search engines and the little Google spiders could find your name associated with smoothjazz.com, and you would be found.
Yes.
And people could have that one click right to your socials. So we're continuing to provide that pipeline, as you said. And I agree with you. I think a lot of people in the age group of this genre, on either side of our age even, we grew up in a world where and some people got this stronger than others, Sandy. We were convinced that no one wanted to hear what we had to say. I had a lot of teachers that were of that mindset. I think you did too. People
Definitely.
just aren't interested in your story. And we've talked to some artists, clients of ours, that have said that. And you and I have had a really hard time convincing them that that's not the case anymore. People do want to see your process.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to get into, is that these are golden moments. Don't waste them, because that's what makes for good social media.
And it's not in the past tense. It's not that we had a really hard time convincing artists. We have, all capitals.
True.
It's funny you brought up the teachers. I remember having a teacher in a creative writing class that I took, and he said, and it like stopped my heart for a minute. It was just, first, it stopped my heart, and then second, I just didn't believe it. He said, rule number one, don't write about yourself. Nobody cares.
It's so bad.
And I thought,
it's so bad.
I thought, is that true? I mean, and I wonder, if he is still with us today, because if he is, I assure you he's not on social media. Because everyone is writing about themselves. I mean, down to what we have for lunch, and what socks we're wearing.
My 85-year-old dad, when we traveled with him, wanted, if he didn't do it or couldn't do it, then he had one of us doing it, didn't he?
Oh yeah. So I mean, that was the philosophy, and there's generations out there that are either too shy to do it, too awkward to do it, don't have time to do it. It's interruptive. A lot of professional musicians are in and out of studios day in, day out. And I mean, they're making good money and, time is ticking. And the last thing they want to do is sit down and type with their thumbs and post. But it matters. And that's what we're here to talk about, that if you're going into the studio, upload a photo. And if you're worried about it being sensitive, as far as like, you don't want people knowing who you're recording with, because maybe it's Adele, I don't know, and you don't want them to know where you are. So maybe save it for the week after you recorded and then post it. But these are opportunities. The funny thing, or the interesting thing about social media is it is parasocial. And parasocial means that it's one-sided relationship. This is something I can really connect with, not just in my personal life, but as a DJ. As a DJ, we are taught to be parasocial, where we know we're being listened to by, potentially thousands and thousands of people at a given moment. And how do you act intimate and warm and friendly and communicate with those who are listening without hearing them back? Well, that is what social media is. It's parasocial. So as an artist, as a creator, as somebody who's putting out music, and now that and I know you know this, before even listening or watching the Stream Girls, you knew that the social media piece has a lot to do with music streaming and the connection to building your brand. It's not the marketing on social media. It's not advertising. It's not promotion. It's the way you communicate and connect with the fans that have discovered you. And listen, it's a tough slog for anybody who's been on this planet longer than 20 or 30 years, because those kids grew up with social. Some of us take to it. I'm a crafty person. I'm an artsy, crafty person. I'm also a DJ by trade. I've been doing this since I was 15. So to have a one-sided relationship is quite easy for me. I know how to connect, and I'm hopeful. Not everything I post lands. Sometimes I think I'm funny, and I also have to be careful of language, that I don't want to offend people. I did something this last week where I posted something about Friday. It said something like, there you are, Friday, you sexy son of a bitch. And, and I don't think very many people liked it. And I thought, oh no, they're seeing a side to me that swears.
Well, I don't think that's always the case. I think sometimes the algorithm doesn't serve things up a certain way. I would say that one of the things I've learned about social media, and it was hard at first, even though I like to do graphics, and posting photos was really fun for me. I love taking photos, especially in my travels, and I love telling stories. So social media wasn't that hard. You love making videos, and you did that as a kid. So you've taken to Reels. Get Real by Sandy Shores, kick ass. I mean, you've done some incredible reels for our clients and for yourself and your own songles. I'm really impressed by it. But I think even if you don't have, you're welcome. And even if you don't have a propensity for graphics or reels or whatever, just hitting the little record button at the right times. I think more what I'm trying to say is it's the thinking about it, right? It's not exactly the execution sometimes. You can get better at that over time. And I wouldn't take things personally if you don't get a ton of likes on something. Yeah, it's feedback, I guess, but we don't always know what's going on behind the scenes.
No, we don't. And you could be right. I just, I tend not to, again, coming from a radio world where, terrestrial radio, was against, I actually have an FCC license. Yeah. And we were forbidden to use swear words, So I started at that point. And I know you like to listen to Pivot a lot with Kara and Scott. And it's like, oh my God, they're saying the F word every other sentence, and I'm still kind of my head's still kind of swiveling. Like, can they do that? And it's just a whole different world right now that podcasting and the streaming platforms basically allow for anything goes. And it's all about transitioning. And I think the reason Donna and I like to speak to our audience, even though this podcast is for the music industry at large, and that is where we are heading. We are starting internally in our genre of contemporary jazz. The people that make music in this genre are not always super young, and they're coming from a time when social media didn't exist. So, and it is becoming more and more important. And metrics matter. And you as a consumer, in addition to being an artist and a musician, that you can access metrics, meaning. And you can, and that's free, by the way, with every Facebook account, with every Instagram account, you get a dashboard with everything. And the metrics are going to matter to every single person in the music industry. So that's why you want to see, am I posting enough? Am I posting too much? Am I building my community? And it's really interesting when you go look at your metrics on your dashboard, you can see what content resonates with your fans, what content brought you new fans, new followers. And you can actually see that. You can go to the area that says, look at my, I think it says, look at my, or insights, metric insights. And you can click on your post and it'll say, we just did something the other day for an artist who's, having a medical situation, and we invited our community to support. And in front of my eyes, it went from 5,000 to 30,000, views. And that's because at the very core of humanity, we would like to help, especially people who are in our community. We know that we have a very kind, audience. And when they hear about something like that, they're drawn to support, which is a nice thing about our community. But that's how I could see that particular post went, just ballistic. And anytime we do a birthday for somebody who is of note, those posts seem to become extremely viral. So, although every now and then it's kind of fun, I watch brand new artists that we do a reel for, or we post something. We did a lovely thing with music educator and jazz historian Pascal Bocard recently, and on Instagram, it's picked up thousands and thousands of views. And as he talked about the history of the banjo, and that kind of thing makes you real happy, because one, it's very helpful to Pascal and his unique perspective and his unique experience inside the music industry. And that is what we're talking about, is what do you have as an artist that is unique? Sometimes if you're like a guy that goes into the studio often to record with musicians, that you want to talk about that. You want to post on that. If you're somebody who likes to cook while you're, in the middle of making songs, you need to post about that, if you're a touring artist that's going everywhere, take a picture of that audience and tell them to look for it on your Instagram account, and they'll go there that night and probably follow you after the show.
Well, I think it's also a really strategic tool for releasing new music as well. And I think there's a whole strategy that is not being talked about. There are no classes really for this. So you see a lot of artists, number one, handing off their social media to someone. I just can't deal with it. Here, I'm going to pay this guy and he's going to do it. Well, that we're going to talk about is not having a great effect. And the other thing that I really want to stress is that fact-based posting, it's like you're standing up trying to tell someone a story. And like I've said it before, if you just say, this thing happened to me, and that's all you say, this fact is, happened to me, the conversation goes nowhere. So I think for people who are shy or don't know where to start, just first of all, don't assume people don't want to know your story. And second of all, think about what interests you when you scroll through someone's feed. What grabs your attention. And when Sandy says share, like you're in the studio, one of the things we keep hearing from some artists is that they're paying a lot of money to these known artists to record with them or to be produced by them, right? And some artists have told us, well, that's like sacred space for me. I just want to have my private moment with this artist I've loved my whole life. And I don't want to think about doing social media like that's a drag. And I understand that. But even just little bits of sharing the process, like an amazing thing that happens when you are in the process that maybe the audience doesn't know. If you drop little nuggets like that along the way, you've now piqued someone's interest into the process of what you're recording and why are you recording it. Saying, I have a new project out is stating a fact. So 100 artists have a new project out. How are they different? What is unique to your project? Why is it coming out now? Why are you recording with this artist? Have you always wanted to? I'd like to know that story. Maybe then I would be interested because I'm getting hit with hundreds and thousands of releases per day. So tell me why I should be interested in yours, and maybe that will resonate with me and I will become your fan. It's literally like you're at a party and you're talking to someone, or you're meeting a friend somewhere, or you're meeting a new friend somewhere. That's what social media is. It is just telling your truth.
It isn't just promotion. Again, it's story.
Yeah.
It's storytelling.
I don't want to be yelled at. There's some artists out there like, oh, I'm doing this and I got a thing. And it's like, I just scroll right past it.
I think there's also a thing of, there's such a thing as too much.
Yeah.
And I do see that. I'm going to call that a rookie move.
Yeah.
I'm going to call that
sure.
a novice move. Artists who are, trying to get a leg up, which I appreciate. I totally
like we're on The Price is Right or something.
I totally understand you trying to get a leg up. I really do. And you're, and you're like trying to but honestly, it comes off as overcompensating.
Yeah.
And we, here's the deal. Social media has been around long enough now that we're all very savvy to it. And we know that you're overcompensating. We know that you want to be like your favorite recording artists and you're not there yet. So you're dropping a post on a reel every day. And you're talking about this and you're talking about that and you're showing us this and it's like, okay, but again, it's the strategy piece. Like put yourself in your audience's place and think about, there's something to mystery, there's something, it's kind of like dating, which really sucks. I know that. But when you show up, you want to give enough information that the person on the other side of the table feels like you're being transparent and you're being vulnerable. But you don't want to give them everything because I assure you there won't be a callback. It's just
there's no second date on that.
I mean, and so think about it like that, and find the right number of posts for you. I personally I've experimented, a lot with posting. Sometimes I have to post a lot because there's a lot going on. I mean, some weeks I'm just like, oh my God, my life is a revolving door. And it can be all very exciting. When I was younger, I thought that was all very exciting. And, I was really happy that I had so much going on. Nowadays, it's like, can we just stop the world for a moment?
Yeah, right.
But you don't want to not post when you have all these wonderful things happening. A concert here, a concert there, an interview, a tiny deck show that we're doing. Yeah. We're dropping a new episode of Stream Girls. I mean, there's a lot. But I've also noticed that when I take my foot off the gas and I post less, whether that's for my own personal page or that's for smoothjazz.com or any of our social media profiles that we have, sometimes we actually pick up more new followers when we sort of tease and we take our foot off the gas a little bit. And I think that's true. Also, I think algorithms are a real deal where they're funny things. None of us have really been able to figure them out entirely yet. Where, you get a little bit of juice on something and then it seems to sort of catch on. And next thing you know, there's thousands of people looking at it. But I assure you that's not going to be for somebody who's putting out a couple, 2 or 3 posts a day, because you're going to get it choked down at some point.
Well, yeah, because they're all trying to make money. Don't forget. So if you're coming off like you're trying to use their platform for free and abuse the platform, just use it all the time, that's how they rein you in, right? They're going to choke you down. They're going to throttle you.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't abuse it and post every day. I think it's more strategic. You've taught me, Sandy, to tag the right way so that if you're working with artists or you're working with a venue or you're even in a town, you need to tag and link backs. I mean, people pay for link backs in business promotion, you know?
It's a funny thing. I mean, you know, it's a love-hate thing for me. You know, it's a double-edged sword. My most funny moment with social media recently was when we had Nathan and Noah East here for our tiny deck over the Valentine's weekend, and we lugged everything up at the top of our, you know, new ocean view performing, you know, deck up top.
Yeah.
And we had an upright bass up there. We had a portable organ up there. I mean, everything was up there. It was phenomenal. On top of a carpet. The day was stunning. It was amazing. We did live feeds and we got a lot of traction. But once you're done with the live feed, with social media, you have to sort of stop down, make sure that you tag that reel, make sure that you keep that reel, and it doesn't just go way off to the ether somewhere, that you save it, and that you have to, you know, do a lot of tagging and make sure you put the location and make sure that this and that and the hashtag and, you know, it's a lot of admin. I call it admin. So you know, we did this wonderful performance up there. Nathan and Noah and I all went to the side of the deck after we were done, all had our phones out. I had a phone and a tablet. And I said, okay, now here's the soul sucking part of the, everybody's euphoric, right? We're all euphoric from the experience.
Yep.
And just really feeling the love. And now we have to stop down and do admin. And I've never said that it's always going to be fun for you. It's not.
No.
It's sometimes it's like, and you don't want to always be thinking about it. How many times have you, you know, thought to yourself, wow, this is such a beautiful meal at this restaurant. I should have taken a photo of it before I had 12 bites and I'm in, you know. We don't want to always have to think like that. We're not 15, you know. We're not trying to impress the guy at high school, you know. But at the same time, we are using the platforms to build our community and to connect. And I'm going to leave that in your very capable hands of figuring out where the lines are, what you want to say, how you want to say it. And I trust each and every one who's viewing this and listening to this right now to find your lane. But please find your lane. I know that, you know, the things we hear back, honestly, I just distill down to insecurity. Nobody wants to be rejected. None of us do. I don't care who you are on the planet or how successful you've been. Nobody likes rejection. And every time you post something, it is an opportunity for people to not respond to it. And this is why we're having the crisis we're having with social media around the planet for younger people. They have not been alive long enough to understand that somebody not liking your post doesn't mean it's the end of the world. They don't know that. It's tragic for them. And I'm glad in many ways that we didn't grow up with social media because I could see, you know, I'm a sensitive person. I can see where that would have really affected me at some point. But this is the world we live in. And if you can have your boundaries with it and you can enjoy it and have fun with it, you really are going to see, I think you'll also have a wonderful experience with your audience, and a lot of those people are friends. They're probably fellow artists and new fans. And you know, I talked to an artist client today. I just love this woman, and she is a very accomplished musician. She is the real deal, and she actually reached out to her hero, I guess you would say, one of her heroes, and just said, hey, can I meet you for breakfast? And a conversation. And you know what? It happened because of the social media connection. And that artist understood that she was a professional and enjoyed the conversation and the breakfast as much as she did. And that's the world we live in. You know, you never know what dream might come true with this social platform. There is a lot of dark side. There's a big dark side to it, but there's also a lot of light, and we just have to proceed with caution.
Yeah, but there's a lot of examples out there. I mean, like, look how Taylor Swift has been able to use social media. Billie Eilish has been able to use social media very effectively. They get their fans involved because, well, those two artists are very authentic artists. They don't mind sharing themselves, and they have good boundaries as to what to share about themselves and not to go too personal into their personal lives. And back to the food thing, we don't need to see what everybody's eating. That's also a rookie thing in some ways. But
Dang
I
it.
think no, but I think it makes you think differently. If you're out traveling, you're going to a gig, it makes you think, hey, you know what? This is a really cool thing that's happening to me right now. Or maybe you're at a CD signing table or something after a festival, and you're having a really interesting conversation with some fans. You might want to say, hey, can we do a little live feed together and talk about the experience you're having here at the festival?
Yeah.
That would help the promoter,
Well, it's true. You brought
and
up
then tag the festival back, and then maybe the promoter will love you for that.
Yeah, no, now we're getting into the legacy type artists or the successful touring artists. This is where they are not off the hook. No way. In fact, they're more on the hook than the beginning artists because they're the ones being booked. There are a lot of festivals. In fact, contemporary jazz has more festivals per capita in this world than any other music genre. And why is that? Because they're fun to go to. All ages go. The kids and parents and everyone loves it.
Yeah.
You can't not love a contemporary jazz festival event. It's just cool. So if an artist is coming from the old days, when all they had to do was take the check and show up and play, they are going to probably be the last on the call list for a talent buyer and a promoter because those promoters need your support. They need you to talk about the event you're going to play. They need you to post on it. And I'm going to say one more thing. And as somebody who is a promoter, when I wear that hat,
You do risk your money. Yeah, we do risk our money.
We do. And I also work with promoters and help them build their festivals and help them market their festivals. I can't stand this. When you post, if you do not add a ticket link, you are not helping. If you do not tag that event, do you know what tag is? Some people don't know what tag is. Let me share what that is with you. You have to start with the little @ sign first if you're on Facebook, and I assume you are if you don't know what tagging is. So, because, I'm just going to be blunt. Facebook is the preschool of social media.
Yeah.
So you want to go find that event, whatever that event is, make sure you follow them. That will, first of all, they will be very appreciative of that if you've gone and followed them. Go back to your Facebook page and tell people you're going to be performing at that festival and put the little @ sign and write the name of the festival. You will then get prompted to accept the name on Facebook and click that. That puts what we call a hyperlink, right? Or a tag, meaning that your fans are going to read that. They're going to click on it and it's going to take them right over to that event page where they too can follow it. And, let's just hope they buy a ticket. That's what it's all about.
I think we just had a conversation recently with some old school dudes, and respect to them in so many ways, but we had to duke it out. To say, the times it's already changed. It's already changed. There is I think an implied obligation. And I think the festivals and the concert promoters are struggling with this right now. Like, they don't see why an artist that they're guaranteeing you money. They're not guaranteed money themselves. That festival may cost them $50,000, right? It has cost us
more than likely twice that.
More than likely twice that. So if you're getting paid a nice chunk of change and you're guaranteed that money, the least you can do, and it is kind of implied. In fact, I would go so far as to say it's a bit rude, whether you realize it or not, to just take the money and do nothing to help promote the gig. We are living in a different time now. That we've been trying to say through this entire podcast that the age of the middleman promotion is over. We know people want to do it. We know people think it still matters. But you're saying there are a lot of festivals in the smooth jazz format. There aren't a lot of radio stations in the smooth jazz format, but there are a hell of a lot of festivals.
Yeah.
The world is upside down from what it used to be. And you don't have your local radio station sitting there pumping that festival in your market anymore.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
We've got to do it. That's why we exist, because we can do it, but all the artists who are at that festival and the fans, if you want it to come back, you better support that promoter.
It's few and far between. Some are very fortunate to have a festival and a radio station, and that allows them to market to their community. Now, some of those festivals are massive, and they want to reach beyond their communities. So social media is a great place for that. And so is smoothjazz.com if you are doing a jazz festival.
And I will give a shout out to Seabreeze in Panama City Beach, because they have gotten better and better. And I had a really hard conversation with Mark Carter over there years ago when at the beginning of social media, and he did not see the benefit of it. And I kept telling him, you're going to bring in people from other countries, from other states, and we help with that. And social media has definitely helped with that. They are so successful now, and they have stepped up their social media game big time. I know they must have a team now. Their videos are outstanding. I really love it when festivals embrace social media and know how to work it, because I know that's what keeps tickets selling.
Very nice, Donna. Very nice. A little sweet and sour there.
Yeah.
But overall,
it's honest.
Overall, you stuck it at the end.
I stuck the landing.
You stuck it, and you ended with a positive. So
Mark won't care.
No, he's still not going to call you.
No.
But let's ask this question. I think this is going to be even more controversial than that. Why should smooth jazz artists be on TikTok? Because really, TikTok is like, if Facebook is, preschool, kindergarten, TikTok is like a, wild, crazy college party. But why should smooth jazz artists be on TikTok? And I'm telling you, I can't always see the people I'm talking to. Sometimes we Zoom, sometimes I'm on the phone, but every time I know the eyes are rolling back in the head when I mention TikTok. You
can hear the eyes roll back in the head.
It's sort of it's a boomer reaction. It's just like, what the hell is she asking me to do here? But here's the thing. The reason you want to consider TikTok, even if it's just get your name on it, just go experiment with it. Don't do anything if it scares you. TikTok is the #1 music discovery platform in the world. #1. And I just want you to understand that people find new artists on TikTok before they find new artists on Spotify, before they find new artists on radio, before playlists. They find new music on TikTok. And the reason smooth jazz is ideal for the TikTok world is because they love to do all kinds of reels over there. The users, the millions and millions of users, borrow music clips for sunsets, for travel videos, for calming content, for cooking content, for behind the scene vibes, right? And smooth jazz being primarily instrumental, you want your music to be available. So when you upload for distribution, make sure you check social media platforms. Make sure you allow TikTok to use it. You will be paid for that. But it is a platform that's built for storytelling. That's what those reels are. I know they're kind of crazy. Some of them are beautiful. I've been very inspired by some of them. The other thing to note about smooth jazz on TikTok is that younger audiences love smooth jazz, even if they don't realize that they love smooth jazz. They love it. And I am seeing that in my own personal research. When they hear a great sax hook, when they want like some sort of study beats or study kind of a chill jazzy vibe, they're listening to smooth jazz. And so the other thing, and I have quite a few reasons here. The algorithms over at TikTok, they don't care about the genres. It cares about engagement. So you will not be downgraded or downsized because you're a smooth jazz artist and not, Taylor Swift. Because all that matters is engagement. And if you're making an instrumental tune that is hot, and I have talked to many of our clients who have made a ton of money getting caught up in the TikTok reels. They just made a catchy hook, and they've had thousands of people use their song for reels, and they got a nice check for that. Also, don't forget that industry gatekeepers are using TikTok. By gatekeepers, I'm talking about promoters. And, we would probably, I don't mean to use that word negatively, but, those are the folks that are going to hire you to play. The curators use TikTok for playlists that you can see on YouTube and Spotify. They're using TikTok. So industry people are using it. TikTok is intimate. It's known for selling smooth jazz. It's a great way for you to even do your own reels and videos, to tell your stories, to create an emotional connection in the studio with why you wrote a song, maybe about a loved one. You can share photos. You can introduce your fans to, whatever inspired you. But that's my point. Do consider TikTok. It's really important that you understand social media is a connection, an emotional connection with people, with real humans. It's not a press release. It's so much more than a press release. And yet you're still reaching the industry. You're reaching the industry and you're reaching the consumer. There's really no downside to leveling up your social media. None.
No, but I think what puts social media, some people ahead in social media is, again, if people, there are many people who can play different instruments. There are many people who can sing songs. There are many people who can write songs now. To say, I have an album, I got a number 16 on Billboard because, we all think that's important. What I see a lot of out there is it's almost like there's some posting going on just to impress other artists. Because
you don't like that?
I mean, if you're trying to make people jealous or trying to be like, hey, I made it to Billboard. I mean, okay, there's 14 stations over there. If that's what you think people connect with, as a listener of music, no, I don't connect with any of that. I don't care. I don't care who puts where they are on Billboard. I quite frankly, what does that mean? I mean, because every chart, it's about, how many stations reported and whatever. What I want to know is, what was it like to write that song? What did it feel like to you? Why did you need to write that song? Why did you get into this? Why do you play the instrument that you play? Did you play another instrument? Do you like playing other instruments? I'd like to see that. Like Vincent Ingala, he plays a lot of instruments. I'd like to hear more of that from him. Just like, why did you do what you did? I think everyone's got to...
Why do you do what you do?
Yeah, everyone's got an interesting backstory, right? And all I see a lot of out there is, I have this new thing coming out. I'm going to be at this show. Everyone come out. I have number whatever on this chart. Okay. But I just don't think that's compelling social media. And I'm just saying that, and that may be controversial and you may not like it, but I'm a consumer and I don't care.
Well, and you are single-handedly on a mission to wake up everybody about, the Billboard Smooth Jazz chart.
The Billboard 14?
We're going to hammer on that just until people understand. It is really it's a vanity license plate, and it's, and we just don't really understand the value of that. We don't see it on an industry perspective. So when you're posting things about that, it really is very interesting to other artists. I don't think the average listener understands what that means. They cannot see any of the Billboard charts. I think they could probably see the Hot 100, but otherwise everything's behind a paywall. They don't understand it. They're detached from it. And so, Donna's got a good point. If you're doing social media to support, basically to brag.
Yeah.
The other artists are going to try, and that's kind of the cycle. That is that closed loop cycle that we
Yeah.
keep talking about. That everybody wants. It's like we're on some sort of track here.
Yeah.
That's a.
And this week I was number 15 and I
that-
was number 20.
I
and-
want you to notice next time you go to your Facebook account. I want you to notice who's doing that.
Yes.
I want you to pay attention. Who is it? Is it George Benson?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm asking you to consider. Is it Boney? Is it or which artists are doing that? I want you to watch that and start to maybe collect your own data and see who's doing that. And then ask yourself, what kind of pull do I feel when I see that? Does it make me want to do that? And why? What, am I competing? Am I a greyhound on a racetrack? But it's not getting you more people. That's for sure.
No,
So-
and it's also, when you say I went out and bought these artists to put on my project, is it to impress other artists that you had a major person come play on your project, or was it integral to the song? I'm not saying don't do that, but when you spend all of your marketing budget buying artists that you think are going to get you that Billboard plaque, to what end?
And on that note,
That's like walking up to someone on the street and saying, "Hey, I got this plaque." That conversation goes nowhere. That's like, great, congratulations for you. But if you have no money left over to promote yourself or to learn, you don't have time to learn social media because you're so busy trying to, make this amazing album with all these guys on it and get this plaque, then that's not really heading towards a career where you're being paid to play live and then produce more projects. That's not really a sustainable career. That's just a big,
right, and keeping those thoughts in line with today's show on social media. Along those lines, people who do your social media for you. This whole up until now, we've been talking about doing your own social media. That's what this show's about. That is what we encourage you to do. Even if you don't feel compelled or you're afraid on any level or you don't know how, go to YouTube. Go look it up. Talk to your kids. Talk to your grandkids. Whatever you have to do.
Get AI to help you write posts.
But here's what we don't like to see. We don't like to see artists give everything over to agencies to do their social media. And the reason we don't like that is because, remember, social media is not a press release. Social media is parasocial. It's an intimate, single, one-sided relationship. And people who use social media know when you're writing something, they know authenticity, and you are trying to build a community to prolong and preserve and create a sustainable income on your music. That is the reason you're doing it. When social media started, you know what I thought to myself? Oh my God, we're all going to have our own TV station.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, we're all going to have our own radio station.
Yeah.
That's what in 2001, somebody mentioned Facebook to me in the beginning phases, and it hadn't really hit yet. By the time I got my hands on it, that's when I realized what was coming. And it's not surprising to me. I got my head around it very quickly, and I thought to myself, the bigger artist or the biggest star you are, the more you really don't need to go and be interviewed by anyone with 2 million followers or even 500,000 people, or there's nothing wrong with 50,000 people. I mean, what you have is you're preaching to the choir, and that choir is supporting your career. So
you're
careful
the rudder.
Exactly. Be careful when you go and think about hiring people or wanting to pass along the responsibility of building your community to others, because what we see, and I feel very disappointed by, is those folks post for you in third party, meaning Sandy has a new single coming up.
Yeah.
Versus, hey, I'm dropping a new single on Friday. I wrote it about whatever. I can't wait to share it with you. I hope you feel it as much as I do when I created it. That is way more intimate. So if you are going to hire somebody, make sure that you discuss that connection with them. I've heard on good authority that when Quincy was alive and he was running a management company, that they were trying. I mean, they do a lot of legwork for their clients. That's the whole point, is to build the fan base, right? And they did try to create a department that would manage the social media for some major artists, and it didn't fly the way they'd hoped, because those fans knew that it wasn't the artist posting, and they just know. They want to see, they want to see things that proves that that's you. They want to see, are you wearing Manolos? I want to see the red on the bottom of the shoes.
Yeah.
They want to see stuff. And so if you keep that in mind, that you don't have to be posting every day, a couple times a week. You don't have to be the most creative kid on the block. You just have to think of something that you yourself might want to see about your favorite recording artist, and there's going to be something unique about you. That's what makes us humans. We all have something different.
Yeah, but I think when you were talking about it, I was picturing you're trying to sort of build this bigger boat that you can steer, right? So you want to invite people on your boat so that it keeps growing. So that when someone says, "Hey, I saw you're out there with a new project, you keep releasing new music, it seems like your fan base is growing. I can go see it on Spotify, and I can see your numbers on social media. It's growing. You seem to have a great relationship with your audience." You can steer that boat at their event. You can steer that boat at someone else's project. That's how artists get picked up on each other's projects. They want the other artist audience to get to know them.
Yes,
that's a beautiful cross promotion thing that goes on with artists.
Why do you always connect your analogies to cruising? Is that in your blood or something?
I built a house that it feels like a ship, so I've never loved cruising.
Are you a cruise director?
My dad wouldn't let me become a cruise director or go into food and beverage, so I built my cruise ship here in Pacific Grove, and I live on it permanently.
They're good analogies. And since you were giving some props,
You're the rudder. Steer the boat. The boat.
Since you were giving props to our festival friends who are doing amazing social media, I also want to give a shout out to Sunny and Christian at Smooth Jazz Europe, because they have really leveled up their social, and I really have been enjoying not only sharing their reels, but also watching them just personally. We haven't had a chance to get over to Europe for a couple of years with all of the new studio work and building we've been doing. But it felt like we were there. It felt like I was there. So
they're
good
doing
work,
a
guys.
great job.
And
Lake Arbor did a great job. I saw some posts when they were getting ready for their concert, and they were putting their little gift bags together, and it was great. They get you, like, you want to go, right? That's the whole feeling. Like, oh, why didn't I go to that? I want to go next year.
Exactly, and it's just exciting. These events are exciting, these lifestyle events that are available to fans, and artists in smooth jazz. We're very, very lucky to have so many shows and festivals and really cool places around the world. I know Scott Pedersen has his Yosemite train coming up again.
Jazz train. Guys, you got to get it out to the jazz train if you can. That's a very unique experience.
Really special. It's in Yosemite. And if you're looking for an excuse to get, to that beautiful part of the world, you can check out jazzconcerts.com. They, we have an opportunity to support them, because social media is something that, I think we really enjoy. We really enjoy it. And so giving Scott a hand with that. So let's level up before we sign off, because this is the portion of the show where we ask you to
level up.
Yeah. Do we need a theme song for Level Up?
No, we just need that. Level Up. Level Up is this week number 12 on Billboard. Okay? I got the plaque.
I
I'm going
thought
to post the
maybe
plaque.
I thought maybe you were inspired by the new theme song to Will Ferrell's show on Netflix.
Hawk?
Yeah.
The
Oh,
Hawk?
no.
That is so obnoxious, that show. I can't stop watching it.
The theme song is 10 seconds long. Hawk, he's a
And
golfer.
But I do want to say, I'm not saying don't post your accolades, of course, but we can only see a soccer trophy so many times. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying there's a lot more to the story than all of the accolades. That's all I'm saying.
Here's Sandy's level up tip for the week. Please, for God's sake, fill out your about section on your social media profiles. Please, please. I mean, what? I don't understand. I mean, I try to find artists to connect with them on these profiles, and they don't even put their website on there. They don't put an email address, and I know some people don't want to be bombarded by email, but there are people like me looking to connect with you out there. I would also like to have a little more information. I'd like to know, sometimes I discover artists on Spotify and I'm like, whoa, this is amazing. So I pop over to Instagram and then Facebook and there's no bio. So it's free. You know, artists are always looking to save a dollar or two. I mean, I know this again is very basic stuff, but I'm going to say probably 30-40% of the artists that I work with and that I know and that I meet and that I come across do not fill out the about section in Facebook, and I'm going to walk you through it. I'm going to boomerize it for you. You go to the about section, you click on edit, right? And then you put in, I'm a Grammy winning, I'm a Grammy nominated, I'm a talented mother for you. I come from this. I've recorded that. I've toured with them. You know, you put your bio in there. Just put your bio in there. And while you're at it, make sure Facebook gives you a ton of words to work with. Instagram is just a few characters, but you can come up with something creative or ask Chat GPT to do it. Consider opening a TikTok account. And while you're putting your bio in your profiles for your social media accounts, get on over to Spotify and do it there too. If you don't know how, that means you have not verified your artist account. So go to artist.spotify.com and claim your artist's name. Put your photos in. We don't have albums to hold on to anymore. We don't even use CDs anymore, most of us. So this is where we learn about you. It's free. So if your profile is blank, you're telling the world nothing about yourself. It means no connection. No connection means no opportunity and no community building. It's literally about the lowest hanging fruit in this industry.
Well, and it actually says the opposite. It says you don't care. And so that does give a message. So if you don't want to get involved in social media and you don't want to do the admin that Sandy's talking about, and I don't know, another thing, set up your bank account, because social media posts actually can pay you. And yeah, engagement pays, it does, whether you believe it or not, it does. So go set up your bank account information so that just on the off chance that you do start receiving money, like other clients that we have done, make sure all of that's in place, because when you don't do it, what that says to people like us in the industry or to just users in general is you don't really care.
Fill out your profiles, claim your pages, add your photos, add your bio, add your links, show people who you are. It costs nothing and it changes everything. Okay?
Yeah, and that you're serious about your career.
So, that's level up.
Yeah, we leveled it, baby. We leveled it.
Level it up, people. Thanks again for catching episode 10 of Stream Girls.
Reach out if you have any questions. We can guide you, but we've got some great social media that we do for you here at smoothjazz.com. It's not just a post with a cover. We got a lot more going on than that. So reach out.
And please follow us on social media. We'll follow you back. We are available at Smooth Jazz Global. That's number one on pretty much all the platforms. And Stream Girls are the Stream Girls. And you can subscribe to YouTube, and you can follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you podcast. We appreciate that as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We'll catch you on the flip flop.
You